Count Dooku was one of the greatest duelists in the history of the Jedi Order and the Sith. His precision, control, and mastery of the blade made even Jedi Masters hesitate to face him. But what truly made Dooku so dangerous wasn't just his skills, it was his understanding of the art of the duel itself. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nerds of Ren YouTube channel. Today we're breaking down exactly why Count Dooku was one of the most feared duelists in Star Wars canon. So let's open the archives. Dooku, also known as Darth Tyrannus, was not just a separatist leader or a political manipulator. He was one of the greatest lightsaber duelists in galactic history. From his early age as Yoda's Padawan to his mastery of the elegant Form 2, also known as Makashi, all the way to his legendary duels against Jedi like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and even Yoda himself, Dooku's skills with a blade stand out as unique among the Sith and Jedi alike. So let's break down why Dooku was so gifted, what made his training and chosen style so effective, and then walk through the exact fights we've seen in canon to see how his technique truly shines. Count Dooku mastered Form 2, also known as Makashi, the fencing style form of lightsaber combat. Unlike other forms, which evolved over time to defend against blasters or emphasize acrobatics, Makashi was created specifically for one-on-one lightsaber duels. This form was all about precision, elegance, and control, minimal energy, small wrist movements, and pinpoint strikes. While most Jedi had shifted away from Makashi at the time of the Clone Wars, Dooku embraced it fully. He carried a curved hilt lightsaber that perfectly complemented Makashi's fluid, fencing-inspired motions, and this choice made him dangerous, because when other Jedi were focusing on defense against blasters, Dooku was perfecting the art of dueling itself. In short, he was training for a battlefield most Jedi weren't preparing for anymore. Dooku wasn't just good because of his lightsaber form. His natural talent, refined training, and eventual fall to the dark side all combined to create a nearly unstoppable duelist. First, he was trained by Yoda himself. That gave him the foundation of discipline, patience, and mastery of the Jedi arts. Second, as a Jedi Master, he already surpassed most of his peers in combat skill before he ever left the Order. Third, once he turned to the dark side, he layered aggression and power onto his already refined technique. Instead of relying on precision, he could unleash bursts of strength when needed, making his Makashi even deadlier. All of this meant that even among the Sith, Dooku stood out as a refined warrior, a duelist who combined the grace of the Jedi with the lethal power of the dark side. Now let's walk through the most important duels we see Dooku fight in Star Wars canon and analyze what they reveal about his skill. In Attack of the Clones, we first see Dooku in action on Geonosis. He faces Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, one after the other. Against Obi-Wan, Dooku easily dismantles his Surisu defenses, stabbing him multiple times with clean, controlled strikes. Obi-Wan is an excellent defensive fighter, but Makashi is designed to slip through those walls. Dooku showcases patience, precision, and composure. Then against Anakin, we see a different story. Anakin rushes him with raw aggression and power, but Dooku remains calm and composed, readying his every strike until he severs Anakin's arm in one swift motion. This scene shows the heart of Makashi, timing, precision, and letting the opponent overextend themselves. Next up in Attack of the Clones, we also see Dooku face up against none other than Yoda. This duel is legendary. Master against former apprentice. What we see is Dooku at his absolute best, but also hitting the limits of Makashi. Yoda's Ataru, filled with speed, acrobatics, and raw force-enhanced agility counters Dooku's precision. Dooku holds his own, but can't break Yoda's defenses or overwhelm him. Ultimately, he retreats, and yet the fact that he can duel Yoda at all without being instantly destroyed speaks volumes. Very few beings in Star Wars history can claim that. The Clone Wars gives us the clearest look at Dooku's day-to-day combat ability. Against Ventress and Savage Opress in Witches of the Mist, he fights both at once, nearly killing them, despite their combined power. His technique dominates their brute force and fury. When ambushed by the Night Sisters in his chambers, he survives even while caught off guard, using his precision, and the Force to fend off assassins in close quarters. And throughout the series of the Clone Wars, he repeatedly duels Obi-Wan and Anakin, often simultaneously, and holds his own. He uses his one-handed Makashi style, mixed with force pushes, kicks, and taunts to control the pace of the fight. This is where we see Dooku's true mastery, not just technical precision, but the ability to blend his lightsaber and force powers seamlessly. In Season 6, Episode 10 of the Clone Wars, titled The Lost Ones, we see one of the most incredible duels from Count Dooku. He fights against Anakin and Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is one of the greatest defensive duelists, while Anakin shines as an offensive attacker. But Dooku attacks Anakin and puts him on defense, while Obi-Wan then has to try and use his abilities to attack Dooku. This shows not only that Dooku is good whether he's attacking or defending himself, but that he knows his opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Finally, in Revenge of the Sith, we see Dooku face Obi-Wan and Anakin once again. Once more, he neutralizes Obi-Wan quickly, showcasing his adaptability. He doesn't waste time with elegance, he just kicks Kenobi out of the fight. But against Anakin, things are different this time. Anakin has grown stronger, faster, and more focused. His raw power overwhelms Dooku's precision. Despite Dooku's skill, he's disarmed and defeated, fulfilling Sidious's plan to replace him with a new apprentice. This fight shows us the true weakness of Makashi. When faced with sheer unstoppable strength and speed, even the most precise duelist can be overwhelmed, and it also confirms how far Anakin had come, because very few could ever do this to Dooku. Now, of course, it can be argued that he was just toying with Anakin to help fulfill what his master wanted for him, but we can talk about that in a different video. So what do these duels tell us about Dooku as a whole? His strengths were elegance, control, and mastery of Form 2. He could defeat defensive fighters like Obi-Wan, outlast attackers like Anakin in his younger years, and dominate multiple foes at once with precision and force. His weaknesses were that Makashi wasn't designed for heavy, raw power duels. Against Yoda's acrobatics and Anakin's brute strength in his prime, Dooku struggled. But in terms of reputation, he stood as one of the finest lightsaber duelists of his era, perhaps surpassed only by Yoda and eventually Anakin Skywalker. I hope you guys enjoyed this lore deep dive into Count Dooku's abilities as a duelist, and if you did, I ask that you give the video a like as it helps the channel grow, and subscribe for more awesome Star Wars content. Drop a comment down below of what Star Wars lore you'd like me to dive into next, and until next time, my friends, may the Force be with you.